Welcome back to another Greg Dennis review and welcome to a very rainy Johannesburg. But today I'm inside the GAC GS3 Emzoom R-Style. That's a lot of names, that's a lot of characters, but that's okay because this car has got a lot of character. And I'm going to say it from the outset, it's one of those cars that I really wanted to love, but I'm struggling to. So for now, let's get into it. I'm going to tell you all about it. Okay, so the GAC GS3 Emzoom R-Style. Now that's the last time I'm going to say that now in the beginning because there's just a lot to say. So I'm just going to say Emzoom going forward. So this is quite a cool little car. Now I say little because it's not a big SUV, but it's also not a small hatchback, but it's like an in-between little compact SUV, but very sporty. I think this car's got a lot of character. It looks very cool from the outside to the inside. You've got all of these sharp lines and big angles and triangles and all of that. It's almost like when they were at the drawing board to design this car, they thought, let's maybe bring a samurai into the equation. And he can use his massive sword and just cut off chunks. And whatever we're left with is exactly what this car is going to look like. And for me, that's exactly what it is. You've got these lines and these indents in the car that have just looked like they've been chopped and sliced, and that's what you're left with. And it's not a bad thing. I think that it looks very cool. I love the way that the grille integrates into the lights, and on this R-Style you can see it's extra sporty. So you've got all of these extra orange accents and little orange aero bits and pieces, so it looks very sporty. I don't think any of this stuff is actually functional, but in the times like today when you really want to stand out from a design point of view, I think that they've knocked this one out of the park. I think that it looks really cool. But from the back, that's where this car really shines, because it's very different in the sense that it's got actual exhaust tips and they actually make a pretty cool sound for the car that this is. So it's got a rev limiter at about 2,500 RPM, but what do you think? Hit to the comments, tell me, what do you think about this thing? It's raspy, it's got a little bit of a deep note to it, it starts quite loud, and when you're driving and put it into sport mode, it really comes alive, and I think that that's quite fun. And all of that noise is coming from a 1.5 litre turbocharged engine that puts out 130 kilowatts and 270 Newton meters of torque, which is not a lot of power at all. So for me, there's a little bit of an imbalance between how this car looks, how it feels, the sound it makes, and then the power that you get from all of that. So I felt a little bit let down by the power, but not more let down than the way that this car accelerates, whether it's the calibration with the accelerator, the lag from a turbo, whatever the case is. But that's this car's, for me, its biggest downfall is when you accelerate, because you put your foot down and firstly it doesn't know if it needs to go forward or not because there's a big lag, and then it all of a sudden just jumps forward, and that's in eco mode. It feels it's like it's unnecessarily aggressive for what it is. And if that's trying to make the car sporty because of it being an Emzoom and all of that, I don't think that that's the right move. And then if you look here, well, I'll try and show you, but you've got different drive modes. So if you put it into sport, okay, now it's going to get even more aggressive. So now when you put your foot down, it's going to shoot forward even more. And even if you just touch that accelerator slightly, the car's going to go forward. And if you take your foot off the accelerator, it's going to continue going forward for another second. It's like it holds that accelerator for a while, which is also not safe, but it doesn't make it feel like a very enjoyable driving experience. So it's a hard car for me because I really wanted to like this. I love the look of it. I think it stands out. It's different. If you're wanting something that's edgy and sporty, then I would definitely look at getting something like this, but you have to take it for a drive first. I think you are going to feel slightly let down by how it accelerates and how it drives, especially on the highway. You put your foot down, I'm going. Now it's just over revving. That was the wheels spinning, and I mean the traction light didn't even come on. That was not fun at all. And I know that it's raining now, so there's not going to be a lot of traction, but I put my foot down to go, nothing happened, and then all of a sudden it just influx of power just comes through, the wheels start spinning, and yeah, that wasn't fun. And I don't know what that see, now it just shoots forward again, and I have to apologize because then I get shot into the lane. Oh yeah, I don't know how I feel about this car. And you guys always come to me and say, or like you guys always try and, or you say that we're not always being honest, and we're trying to, this is me being completely honest with you. You come to my reviews for a reason, you come and watch these for a particular reason. That's to get intel and knowledge and to know how I feel about the car, because that's my opinion. It's not going to be everybody's, but this is my opinion, and so far, this is exactly how I feel about it. Now, to speak a little bit more around like the pricing and like things like that, this entire range starts from 419,000 Rand, which I feel like that's pretty cool. Sorry, first I need to put this back into eco because the sport mode is going to drive me mad. Which I feel is quite cool because you get a really nice looking car, a nice design. On the inside it's cool too. You've got all of this contrasting materials and fabrics and stitching and blue accents, and it looks very sporty. It feels very well put together. That I have to give it. The build quality in here is very good. The center console doesn't shake. Nothing is rattling. The seats are very comfortable. This isn't real leather, but it's going to be that pleather, if we can call it that, which is still cool. It feels really nice. It's comfortable. No one would know that it's not leather if you didn't tell them. You've got a very sporty steering wheel. This is actually a very nice steering wheel. I love the way that this looks. I love the way that it feels. It's thick enough to make it feel quite sporty. You've also got some nice buttons on here, even one to make the exhaust louder, which unfortunately only works if you're in sport mode. So if you're wanting to be in eco and have the exhaust loud, you can't do that. And again, that shouldn't be a thing. If you've got a button on here, it needs to work all the time, especially for something like an exhaust, which is just a valve. It should be able to open and close whenever you want it, no matter what mode you're in. That's the whole point of a button, is to give you access to things like that. And unfortunately, you can't do that. But the car feels nice, it drives nicely, it handles really nicely too. Again, it's not super sporty, so it's not going to be very firm, so it handles the bumps nicely and the road imperfections, and you've got a really smooth and comfortable drive. In front of the driver, you've got a digital display, and you've got a separate one for infotainment. What I like about this setup in particular is that they haven't tried to make both screens look like they're one long flat screen like all the other Chinese manufacturers. Here it's separate. You can feel like the one in the center has been popped out, and it is slightly kind of different to the one there, so I really like that. The displays are crisp. They're pretty well responsive when working with them, and you've also got a wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, a 360 camera in this top of the range R-Line, and all of that. So the R-Line is going to come with this panoramic sunroof, the full 360 camera system, all of your smart safety tech, your lane departure, forward collision warning, auto folding mirrors, this really nice sound system, and every single little bell and whistle, and even the kitchen sink, everything. And that top of the range version is going to max out at about 490,000 Rand. So that's 490, and starts at 419. So 490, 419, 490, you get it. So storage and practicality is also pretty good inside. You've got a lot of space. You in the back seat there, you've got a lot of leg room. You've got a flat floor too. You don't have a little hump to have to move over. Say 3 people can sit quite comfortably back there without having to kind of put their feet together. So that's a big plus for it. You've got also a lot of space. You've got space in the door bins. You've got space underneath the transmission tunnel. But the buttons and stuff up there, you've got some space underneath. Big armrest and a nice little slot here to put your phone. While it's connected to wireless Apple CarPlay, you can easily access it if you need to while you're not driving, okay? You've got cup holders here. You've also got an armrest down in the center that will also open up and give you cup holders. So lots of space, but then if you get into the boot, the space isn't that good. So you don't have a lot of space back there. You've also got like a weird cover on the boot too. I don't know what that means or what that's for. But regardless, it's also an automatic tailgate, so you can push the button, it'll open and close. Based off of this being the top of the range version, you're going to have everything like that in here. And then to talk about cars that are similar to this, that if you're wanting this sports car feeling without having a proper sports car, but wants a little bit of a fruity exhaust note, then consider looking at things like a Haval H6 GT or a Hyundai i20N. An i30N is going to be quite a bit more expensive than this. But if you go look at changecars.co.za, you might find the right car for you that you're looking for. And the good thing about changecars.co.za is that they vet and check every single dealership that sells cars on their website, so they know exactly who they are and what they're selling, weeding out all of the bad and dodgy dealers so you only get the finest and best quality cars. They've also got a pretty cool website where you can go and watch car reviews, you can read articles, you can do some financial things, and you can even bring them quotes from dealerships that aren't on Change Cars. And not only will they match the quotes, but they'll beat it too. So go check them out. Go and see if you'll find your perfect alternative for something similar to this. And if you do, and you do come right, let me know. I want to know if you guys use all of my partners. And that being said, they are a very proud partner of Greg Dennis Reviews. And just an example of what I mean by this accelerator, I'm currently standing still. I'm in traffic, it's raining, it's the worst, but I'm worried to put the accelerator forward because I know it's going to jump. So I have to ease it a little bit, and I know it's going to hold the accelerator for a while. So yeah, it's a little bit of anxiety provoking, but I guess if you do have it and you own it, you will be able to kind of work that accelerator better and know exactly how it's going to work and react. But in the week that I've had it, I haven't really come right yet, so yeah. Okay guys, so onto the verdict now in the form of the GDR test. Should you get it, drive it, or remove it from the list of cars that you're looking at? Now I'm gonna have to say, please remove it. In my opinion, I think there's better alternatives out there. I'm just not convinced with how it drives, and that's the most important thing about a car. Don't worry about the looks, don't worry about the exhaust note, don't worry about the 360 cameras and the panoramic roof and all of that stuff. How it drives is the most important thing. And for me, this accelerator feel and how it accelerates and all of that stuff, it's not a yoba. And hopefully in the newer models and that, they kind of pay a little bit more attention to how it drives and how it shoots forward and things like that. So I would rather go and get a second-hand Haval H6 GT. I really love that car. It's also got a fun exhaust note, it's very sporty interior, and for me that's probably going to be the alternative best option to something like this. So thank you for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned a little bit more about this GAC GS3 Emzoom R-Style edition. I'm sorry if it's not the verdict you guys wanted, and if you do really love the car, please head down to the comments and tell me exactly what you do love about it. And if I've got it wrong, then please let me know too, because nobody's perfect. So if you did enjoy this, please really drop a like below. And if you want to see more videos like this, other car reviews, car related content, and everything in between, then please subscribe. And until then, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.